Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. And today I'm going to be talking about, well, it's going to start off as one specific social media person, but I'm going to kind of spread it out towards MAGA conservative Republicans because I keep seeing them say certain things and like just demoralize, dehumanize a demographic, and then they take away rights from that demographic, but then they demand for specifically people with disabilities to live life normally, to get through, to suck it up, buttercup, basically. And it's pretty revolting, disgusting, stupid, ignorant, naive, and ableist. Sometimes with a pinch of racist in there, but I know that's one reason why I started this channel about a year and a half ago. I think almost 2 years ago. Well, no, it's still a year and a half because I feel like people need to hear from people like me. And that's why my view of humanity is a whole new tea. Because when I have literally faced feminism or sexist, and then racism, racist, and then ableism, ableist people throughout my life, even within my own family, so called friends, fake friends, frenemies, and yeah, let's just say, like, the only reason I still have some people on my Facebook is to keep my enemies close because I want to know what are they up to, what are they doing, and especially when some of them create fake profiles. Because if I've already blocked them on LinkedIn and other social medias, but then I keep seeing like catfish versions of them looking at my profiles. And I know this because like I do the picture search on the social medias and everything, and then when I look at the names, a lot of times it's named after people they're friends with. But yeah, that's kind of a different subject, but at the same time, some of these same people are the ones who, when I worked promotional modeling, when I would go for different jobs, and when I was working on my master's, some of these same people were like, she can't be that smart. Look at how she walks. She better not get this job because she walks like that. Or she better not be dating so and so, or she better not be like in a like, or this guy better not date her because of like, it got to a point even with dating, like while being a promotional model, where some of my coworkers would tell guys, are you actually going to try to date her? Look at how she walks. She's not good enough. Like, what are you doing? And at the same time, it's kind of a blessing because those guys were not going to be my type. They are not like, but yeah, that's another story for a different day. But the long run, I have faced so many of the isms. And now we're living in a society, we're living under a person that is determined to take away as many rights away from us as possible, and has people working under him that dehumanize, and they put us down to the point where it makes me wonder a lot about their Christian thoughts and like the, because they keep saying how they're Christian and they're bringing God back, and it's like I wasn't even going to bring this part up, but it's mind blown with how Republicans, especially the MAGA Republicans, a lot of them want to bring so much of this Christianity back while doing things that you would picture Satan doing, and you would picture people who would be going to hell doing, but they're going to justify it. They're going to say it's for a good reason. They're going to say that their sin and doing things that are under a certain commandment, that since they're doing it, it's out of love, it's out of compassion, it's because they need to make this country like, and that whole yeah. Sometimes when people say, like when I hear from MAGA people, I want to know from a woman's perspective, when was America great? From an African American perspective, and I'm not going to say people of color, because a lot of people of color left us hanging during the last like election. A lot of them were like, oh, they're going to do great for me, they're only going to do bad for black people, so skip you, screw you, we don't care about you. But now a lot of them, a lot of them are kind of to the point where now I'm not going to say regretting, because regret means you've learned from the mistake, and a lot of them have not learned from the mistake. A lot of them only hate the fact that their hate is coming back to them. And so, yeah, well, let's get to the main topic though, because this one's more on disability. Because there is a social media person called the Older Millennial, and I I was watching, like, I'm gonna put the screenshots in the video, but there's one person that I follow with YouTube who shows different TikTokers and different social media feeds and everything. And this one guy, the older millennial, who he was in a group type of episode. I don't know whose show it was, but he basically, like, in summary, he said that all people with mental disabilities need to be thrown off a mountain. People with mental disabilities and low IQs need to be thrown off a mountain. Who I don't I don't like the disgust that I have is like, it's revolting, it's disgusting, it's dehumanizing, and it just makes me think, especially right after we heard what RFK Jr. said. Oh, and with the commandments, it's the sixth commandment that I'm speaking of specifically with this episode. So if you didn't catch that, yeah, throwing people off a mountain. Yeah, six, the sixth one. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, after what RFK Jr. said about people on the spectrum, and now we're hearing, like, I've been hearing from different social media people talk about people with disabilities. And oh, when Candace Owens, she was putting down people with disability, like they were models, and they were modeling some of, I believe, Kim Kardashian's lines, because it's like she had some that were like easier access for those with disabilities. If you guys don't know, there are some clothing that are for people with disabilities, especially like partially paralyzed, and or like, there's a whole list of reasons. And I'm not gonna, like, maybe another episode I will go over them, because I really do want to start going over disability owned and disability made products that will help cater to our needs. And It's because I feel like we need more of that too, especially if I can find disability owned companies, people who have a disability who own the company. I really want to highlight and show them, because I feel like, especially in this America today, and with the capitalism and how we keep just making the same exact people richer. And people keep saying people with disabilities need to get a job. When some of us are trying to get a job, some of us are trying to make our own money, some of us are trying to be independent, but when we keep having obstacles, especially if you're taking away DEI, and a lot of us, it's like, I need DEI. I do, but not because of my race, not because I'm not like up to the standards. If you've been listening to episodes, I have been told that I was a top candidate for so many jobs. And I've told so many stories, and I have so many more to tell and give. But at the same time, when employers, when HR see me walk in, they're already judging me. So many of them are already judging me. And they tell me, "Oh, why do you walk like that? Did you get run over by a car? Or did your boyfriend or husband or family member like beat you?" Like all types of things. Or this is before I was diagnosed though. So to me, I just think I walk differently, and I'm just like, whatever, because doctors misdiagnosed like all my life. They told me I was a liar. You're making it up. You just want to. And they tell me, "Oh, why do you walk like that? Did you get run over by a car? Or did your boyfriend or husband or family member like beat you?" Like all types of things. Or this is before I was diagnosed though. So to me, I just think I walk differently, and I'm just like, whatever, because doctors misdiagnosed like all my life. They told me I was a liar. You're making it up. You just want to. And they tell me, "Oh, this is what they told me all throughout my life for 30 something, like almost like too many years. They told me this to the point where I hated myself because of how I walk. I sometimes, when I want to say bad things about myself because of my walking, I have to like, I'm still training my mind to say this is not my fault. Partially, this is the doctor's fault, because like I should have had physical therapy all of my life. And to hear people like the older millennial, he disgusts me. He's disgusting. He's awful. He's vile. He's idiotic, stupid, naive, ableist. This is all in my opinion. This is all in my opinion. But when you say that you want to throw tons of people off over a mountain, off a mountain, because they have a disability and a mental disability, do you know how degrading that is? Do you know how awful that is? Do you know how dehumanizing that is? And then part of me wants to know, are you one of the churchgoers? Are you a Christian? I really want to know. I really want to know that. Because years ago when we had Black Lives Matter, a lot of them tried to come back with all lives matter. So let's go over this real quick. Let's go over this real quick. Because all lives, all, because I remember back in the day when I had to take like the SAT, ACT tests and everything like that, and they would warn us in a question if it says, excuse me, all or none, and maybe they gave us like all of these keywords to be careful of. It's like, because it would be either the true or false questions and stuff, and they said if it says all, be very careful, because that is a trick. That could be a trick. And so if you're going to say all lives matter, like MAGA doesn't mean all lives matter, because look what they're doing at the border right now. Look what they're doing with El Salvador right now. They don't get due process, but then a lot of them say, oh, they're not citizens. They don't get, yes, they do. Yes, they do. It's like, I'm not a lawyer, but I've been like, I love law and I love going into that kind of stuff. I've been doing a lot of research, but yeah, you don't. It's for if you're on American land. If you're on American land, you are due process. And also, even if you have a tattoo doesn't mean you're in a gang. It doesn't mean like that means I've dated a lot of men that's been in that like no, but they haven't. And the ones that possibly would have, they're white. It's I have so many more dating nightmare stories to tell you guys, but especially about some of these white men. So, and remember, almost every white guy or every guy that's been in prison that I've mentioned are white. Almost everyone that's been to jail is white that I've mentioned to you guys in dating nightmares. Almost every single one white. Hmm. And the fact that some of these white men that's been to jail or prison or whatever, they like when they meet me and stuff, they're like, oh wow, you're amazing, blah blah blah, you're smart, I can't believe you do this, but I don't want you to be that amazing, or I won't allow you to talk to my family about your education, your goals, your dreams, your writing and stuff like that, because I don't want you looking like that. And Mr. Lockakey, who on purpose tried, he was doing something illegal, didn't tell me, had it in his car, or had it in my car. I'm sorry, he had it in my car because I didn't, I it's like he taught me about Michigan law. Because I don't know if this is in all 50 states, but yeah, if you have the illegal activity in the car and it's like it's the driver's responsibility. Even if the driver didn't know, the driver's going to get arrested too and charges on them as well, even if they had no idea. And on purpose, he did that because he even told me, who's going to trust a black woman? I'm a white man. They're going to believe me over you. That is what he said. That is what he told me. Yeah. So, with all of these all lives matter, don't, Mega better not say that ever again. Because the way that you are treating, like some are citizens, and oh, also that 4-year old fighting cancer right now, fighting cancer, and some of you guys are celebrating him being deported. Some of you are celebrating the cruelty. It's like look at the Ten Commandments, look at the Bible. Do you think this is something Jesus would have done? Just think, do you think this is something Jesus would have done? And if your answer is yes, I want to know. I want to know in the description, like down below in the messages, tell me the exact church you go to. Tell me your pastor, your bishop, your priest, your bishop. Like, just tell me. Yeah, your cardinal. Like, I don't get, like, tell me whoever you go under. Okay, okay. Because if you think celebrating a 4-year old fighting cancer, getting deported, and then they're a U.S. citizen, they are a U.S. citizen. Think about that too. Because if they're not scared to deport a U.S. citizen, someone fighting for their lives, they won't be scared to get rid of you one day. They won't blink an eye to get rid of you one day. They won't care. They won't care. And no one's going to whisper. No one's going to say a thing. No one's going to care when your life is, yeah. But anyway, you say you want to be pro life, or you say you're pro life, but when there is, like, you have many people out here dehumanizing, putting down people with disabilities. You have people saying they want to throw people off a mountain. Throwing people off a mountain. Do you think, like, if you're going to celebrate that too, if you agree with that too, oh, you're going to be able to tell me what kind of tea Satan likes. You are going to be able to tell me what Satan likes to eat for breakfast. You will be able to, because you're going to see it face to face. Because if you think that is Christian, if you think that is good, if you think that is what Jesus would do, and this is some people, even though I'm still starting out, getting listeners and everything, it's kind of crazy. When I had the one episode of, like, if Jesus was here, he would be a liberal, I keep getting more proof that I'm right. People were hating on me. People didn't like me. I got some thumbs downs on that one, but I have more proof. I have like, if you're celebrating, if you're a Christian person, you're celebrating that young little boy. And if you are clapping and laughing and thinking it's funny that people with disabilities be thrown off a mountain, if you agree and are nodding with RFK Jr., I mean, this is all in my opinion, but yeah, whatever church you're going to, they need to close down. They are, okay, I'll stop right there. But if you say you're pro life, you're not. Because isn't pro life linked to all, like, in a ways with all lives? Pro life means the life that a woman carries. It's like, to turn, like, you're telling me that some lives shouldn't be existing, shouldn't be like, but then at the same time, people hate or put down people who may have a disability or may who just want to pick the gender. It's like some Christians or MAGAs put people down because they want to make sure that they have the healthiest, most viable baby possible. And also, I'm learning more. Like, science is not my, cup of tea, or whatever. But, I mean, yeah, I got a big butt, so I might as well, But at the end of the day, I learned a little bit of something, because when the male specimen is going for the egg, it's not just the first one gets in. Each one of the specimen, and as like I'm saying specimen, I know what they're really called, but just in case we got some mommies and daddies with their kids around or in the car or whatever, I say specimen and stuff like that, because some parents don't want to hear, or some parents don't want their children to hear, that word or whatever. So anyway, did you know that the specimen communicate and talk? It's like they're salespeople. It's like we have to realize that our specimen, they were good salespeople. They talked to that egg and they told them why they deserve that life, why they should get in there and stuff. And so, if you want to throw a life off a mountain, you have to realize that that specimen talked to that egg. It wasn't just the winner of the race. They talked to them. It was like a debate team. They were the ones that was like, well, we can do this and I can do this and we're a team, or we're it's like they were able to convince this egg how beautiful of a life they are going to be able to have. But a lot of people don't understand, like, and that's another thing. Like, I know MAGA, them versus science, they don't care, to the point where you literally hire RFK Jr. to be in charge of our health. And now they want to do some kind of study by a person who isn't even a doctor, who isn't even a doctor. And then he puts people down for being on the spectrum, for having a disability, and then blaming it on a vaccination, but then says vaccinations are the best way to not get, like, A, B, and C. I'm just, so I'm just going to kind of finish this off on a couple notes and everything, because since I do have a disability, and I guess, like, I do have, well, I have degrees, but there are, like, I have to learn differently. And even with my master's in teaching and training with technology, is like teaching college level, teaching K through 8, each grade, each level, especially with the adults, teaching in different styles, different ways, and like it's amazing how certain students are gravitating. And I will never forget the one class. And actually, it's like this one student, he's a pastor, but at the end of my first class of the hybrid marketing advertising class, he came up to me and he said, and I have gotten this compliment more than once, but he went hard on it. He was like, I've learned more in your class in one night than I have learned in full semesters from one professor in a whole class. And so, yes, I learn differently. And yes, it takes a lot for me to memorize and things like that. But at the same time, I work hard. I read, I do my research, I do what I have to do. So if you're going to try to say people who are low IQ, if you're going to have the nerve to say people with mental disabilities, you need to do your homework, you need to check yourself because you have no idea what you're talking about. And also some people with lower IQs or so-called or and it's like oh, and sometimes people with mental disabilities, the way they see the world, the way they express themselves is wonderful, beautiful, and amazing. But I just feel like now that we have the bully in chief in office right now, it's like people don't, especially the mega Christian community, they can say and do whatever they want. They can be like, some of them have been bullies all of this time because, again, I mean, in my opinion, but Candace Owens, yeah, my ex boyfriend's mom's like favorite black woman, like, and it's like, and I'm gonna have a whole episode on that too, because now if Candace Owens wants to come back and be like, I didn't know, I didn't. Oh, go, be quiet. Stop. Okay. Was that money ringing too loudly in your ear? Was that money ringing too loudly in your ear? Be quiet. Stop it. It's like no, because on top of the racism, on top of the ableism, on top of the hatred for so many people, now she wants to come around and be given a second chance. And it's crazy because her husband just became an American citizen, just became an American citizen. And so I'm just going to finish this with another thing. Medicaid and a lot of different disability programs, they only help you to a certain extent. Especially like some of like people say get a job and stuff. Some of us, we want to get jobs. We want to explore the world and do different things, but they only help you enough so that you can live in the house. And then a lot of people tell us to stay at home, don't go. I told you, I just had an episode a week or two ago where I was on a date with a guy on the spectrum and he told me just stay at home. It's like, don't go out. You shouldn't be going out anywhere. And the irony of what's going on right now, the absolute irony of what's going on right now. And so I'm going to have another episode where I talk about the issues with Medicaid and also looking at work opportunities, ways to learn and train, and how we need to make America better for people with disabilities, because a lot of us, we want to do so much more. We try to do so much more. We want to start our business, but if we don't have the money to do, like to start it, it's like, and then a lot of jobs don't want to hire us because of our disabilities, because they don't want to have to pay for the resources that would help us be able to do the job to the best of our capabilities. But this is the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human and you're human too.